Hey, you oldies, listen to the children. Listen and act.
It gave me a voice. It gave me a bigger platform.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 award ceremony of the 17th International Children's Peace Prize. This year, like last year, we are operating under certain COVID-19 restrictions. We're going to get through this together. Honored guests, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to The Hague. Welcome to this historic setting of what we in Holland call the Ridderzaal, the Hall of Knights. It doesn't get much older than this, built in 1280. Enjoy. We are so happy that you're all here. Most of all, we are happy that our guest of honor is here. He is the 2014 recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. He's here with us today, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi. He's here with us today. Thank you so much for being here, sir. I'd like to extend a welcome to ambassadors from all over the world who are here with us today as well. Thank you so much for being here. And it's really special for us that so many dignitaries and officials from NGOs from all over the world are joining us today, whether remotely or in person. Thank you so much for being here. It is nice for the press. It's nice for us that the press is here with us today. And last but not least, the viewers of this live stream from all over the world, thank you so much for joining us. Every year, the International Children's Peace Prize is awarded to a courageous child who has made an exceptional difference for the rights of the child and for the position of children anywhere in the world. We are proud that each year the winner reaches hundreds of millions of people worldwide, and it shows us that change is possible. The good news is that this year, just like last year, the Kids' Rights Expert Committee has been able to unanimously select a new winner of the 2021 International Children's Peace Prize. We have a winner amongst us, and we're going to announce that winner during this live stream. But to open our ceremony, we have with us today, on behalf of the Dutch government, our own Finance Minister, Mr. Wopke Hoekstra. Mr. Hoekstra. I'll give you the stage, Mr. Hoekstra. It's up to you now.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dear friends. It is my pleasure to welcome you here in the Ridderzaal, the Hall of Knights in The Hague. And I'm truly honored to be speaking to you on behalf of the Dutch government at this presentation of the International Children's Peace Prize. In the Netherlands, as many of you might know, we have a well-known children's pop group called Kinderen voor Kinderen, which means children for children. And this group was already popular back when I was a child, and it still is today. In fact, my own kids are fans, at least the youngest two. Kinderen voor Kinderen have a new song about what you want to be when you grow up. And the lyrics in Dutch go like this. Jij kan worden wat je wil. Waarmee maak jij het verschil? Zoveel dingen die je later kunt doen, vanaf nu tot aan je pensioen. In English, this means be whatever you want to be, but be the change you want to see. There are so many things that you can do. The future is yours. It is up to you. And this song, ladies and gentlemen, sends a positive message about the future and what you can achieve if you make use of your talents. And it made me think of all these young people who have been nominated for the International Children's Peace Prize and who have been awarded the prize in the past. And a number of them are here with us today. And you are connected not only by your dreams about the future, but first and foremost by your actions in the present. You don't ask how you can change the world later when you grow up. Instead, you are changing the world today, starting small, close to home, and gaining momentum from there. Take Mohammed Asim. He has not let his physical disability hold him back. On the contrary, he traveled 450 kilometers in his wheelchair to advocate for better education in his local school in the Indian state of Kerala. Or Christina. She truly understands the importance of nutritious food, especially for young people when they're growing up. She helped ensure that millions of school children in the UK, in the United Kingdom, received free and healthy meals during the lockdown. Or take Vihan and Nav. They began by sorting the rubbish at their home in Delhi. And this project quickly grew into a street-wide and then a neighborhood-wide initiative. The project now collects, sorts, and then recycles rubbish from more than 1,000 homes. And this is helping to decrease air pollution and thus improve the health of all local residents. Ladies and gentlemen, improvements in education, health, and climate change can of course all contribute to a better world and in the process to greater peace and security. And these are the topics that connect all of us, but in particular the children around the world. And as a minister, it is critically important for me to hear children's ideas on all of these issues. I often visit schools, and I'm always struck by how knowledgeable and enthusiastic children are, and how creative they in particular can be in coming up with what is most important, solutions. But also, and perhaps more importantly, I'm struck by how reflexively children understand that your actions don't just affect yourself. They also affect others, people, animals, and the planet as a whole. And that is something that we as adults sometimes forget in the hustle and bustle of our daily lives. And this is something we will do well to learn from young people in general, and from all of you here in particular. You show us that although you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up, there is so much that all of us can do and achieve today. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, the International Children's Peace Prize is so tremendously important. We in the Netherlands are proud, very, very proud to be presenting this prize here in The Hague, here in the Hall of Knights, here in the international city of peace and justice. I hope you will all very much enjoy the ceremony, and I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoekstra, for those wise words. Thank you for hosting us in your town, The Hague, in your Ridderzaal, so to speak, where you get together every year for the opening of Parliament. Our next speaker is the 2019 recipient of the International Children's Peace Prize, Ms. Davina Malou. She is an international speaker, and she's the founder of Children for Peace, a girl-led movement that operates in Cameroon as well as other African countries. And this Children for Peace is an organization that teaches about 5,000 kids each year about radicalization and violent extremism. It's the 2019, she was 14, and Ms. Malum won the International Children's Peace Prize for her peaceful fight against extremist violence and radicalization. In 2020, she was the youngest recipient, the laureate, I would say, of 3535 Africa Award, which is an award that is handed out to people that make an exceptional difference, who are under 35 years old, and 35 young personalities from Africa get awarded each year. She was also, in 2020, one of the speakers during that delivered a speech at the 2020 United Nations International Day of Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, she's here with us today. Please give a warm welcome to Ms. Davina Malou.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, wish you a very good day. Permit me to thank the Almighty God for this wonderful moment and the International Children's Peace Prize Expert Committee, which believed in my work in the fight against violent extremism and decided to recognize it by granting me an international recognition. I was particularly moved during the last award ceremony. When I came back in Cameroon after the award, I have reinforced advocacies for the increased participation of children in public policies. I am very grateful to the International Children's Peace Prize, which has been playing a crucial role in the attainment of my vision by offering me an international platform to voice out my message and get connected to key stakeholders. Internationally, I have been the youngest laureate of the 3535 African Award and speak at various events such as the 2020 observance of the UN International Day of Peace. Locally, with my organization, Children for Peace, we have sensitized over 5 million people, trained and mobilized 50,000 children to work with community leaders. Our ambition is to broaden the scope of our organization across Africa. Key future projects are focused on girls with emphasis on the marginalized as disabled, migrants, refugees, IDPs, indigenous communities, empowering and mobilizing them on their rights and peace building. Dear new winner, I welcome you on board by encouraging you to use the image and the visibility offered by the International Children's Peace Prize to keep championing for peace. I would like to simply remind everyone here, if you believe that a smile is stronger than a gun, if you believe in the power of an offered hand, if you believe that what brings people together is more important than what divides them, if you believe that being different is an asset and not a danger, if you know how to look at the other with a touch of love, if you know how to prefer hope to suspicion, if you believe that it is up to you to take the first step rather than the other, if a child's look can disarm your heart, if you can rejoice in the joy of your neighbor, if you prefer to be harmed than to do harm to someone, if you believe that love is the only force of persuasion, if you believe that peace is possible, then peace will come. Thank you all for your kind attention. May God bless you.
Thank you, Divina. Such powerful words from you. Such a great impact you had in 2019 and thereafter. We're very proud for your influence that you've had. It's a tradition of the International Children's Peace Prize that the winner has a great influence to perhaps millions of people, hundreds of millions of people in the world. Now, that was 2019. It's time to look ahead to 2021, 2 years later. And the question to answer is, who will win the prize this year? Now, let's take a look in a little bit, because there were 169 nominees from 39 countries. And the expert committee that I just mentioned before, the Kids' Rights Expert Committee, who selects all the nominees and selects the winners, they made a selection of 3 finalists. Those 3 finalists will make, hopefully, and have already made a very big impact. And let's meet those 3 finalists.
This is 15-year-old Asim, born with a severe physical disability. He lives in a rural village called Velimana. The school in his village only covers the lower primary level, and there is no higher primary school for him to go to. Asim takes action. He files a lawsuit and discusses the issue in 2015. With great success, the school gets upgraded to a higher primary. Thanks to his efforts, the school grows from having 200 students to over 700. With his actions, Asim wants to inspire children with disabilities to continue their education. Asim's work is not finished. He is now fighting for his school to be upgraded to a high school. To advocate for his battle, he leads a 450-kilometer march, which he covers in his wheelchair in 52 days. His case is now pending before the Supreme Court of India. This is Asim, finalist of the International Children's Peace Prize. This is 18-year-old Christina, a born changemaker. She fights for the right to access to food for people from lower-income households, especially free school meals, which she also needed as a child. During the pandemic in 2020, the UK government decides to not extend free school meals during holidays. Being personally affected by this, Christina feels the need to do something about it. She starts a petition that collected 500,000 signatures. And the government starts listening. 1.4 million children regain access to free school meals. This is Christina, finalist of the International Children's Peace Prize. 17-year-old Vihan and 14-year-old Nav are fighting against pollution in Delhi, India. In 2017, the largest landfill in the city collapses and causes the death of 2 people. Shocked by this news, Nav and Vihan realize that their waste ends up on landfills and causes pollution. They take action and start collecting their waste at home. What starts with collecting waste at their own home is now a service that collects waste from nearly 1,500 households, schools, and offices. They have recycled over 173,000 kilograms of waste. They have also started 3 plantations and have planted 1,000 native trees and strive to increase awareness and have reached over 45,000 young people through talks and trainings. These are Nav and Vihan, finalists of the International Children's Peace Prize.
4 inspiring finalists, so much action taken. They deserve our applause for so much action. We're going to see who is going to be the winner. But before we get to that, we have a long-term friend and an exceptional person here with us. She was with us last year. She is Ms. Tutu. She is the founding director of the Desmond and Leia Tutu Legacy Foundation. She co-authored 3 books. I'm going to name them all 3. I'm going to read them because I don't want to make any mistake. 1, Made for Goodness. 2, The Book of Forgiving. and 3 about her own father, Tutu, the authorized portrait. Please give a warm welcome to Miss Mapo Tutu.
Children's Peace Prize finalists, Asim, Christina, Vihan, and Nav, and your families. Impressive list of incredibly important people in attendance. You know who you are, and if you're not sure, just claim it. Wear it for the day, it fits perfectly. And equally important people viewing remotely. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you in my own name, and I bring warm greetings on behalf of my father, the patron of this prize, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. This year's finalists are change makers who have found creative ways to address some of the most pressing issues of today. The project founded by Viham and Naj makes it possible for people to counter the climate crisis in the actions of daily life. Christina's intervention combats child hunger, a global disaster with local consequences. Asim's efforts confront the twin issues of access to education and disability rights. As a teenager growing up in apartheid South Africa, for me and my friends, the most pressing issue was the race-based oppression imposed by the government of the day. The tentacles of apartheid reached into every aspect of life, where a person was born, where they lived, where they attended school, the level they could attain at work, and who they could marry, which hospital they went to when they were sick, where they died, and where they were buried, all were determined on the basis of race. I think the apartheid government imagined that we all went to racially segregated heavens as well. Young people had always been at the front of the anti-apartheid struggle. Men and women in their 20s and 30s had stood up in opposition to unjust laws. They had protested using all the means at their disposal, and they had faced the wrath of the apartheid state. Many, like Nelson Mandela and his cohort, were imprisoned. Others fled into exile. And then, in 1976, teenagers organized a massive protest in the Black township of Soweto. Their action met a violent response from the apartheid government. Hundreds of children were killed or maimed. Thousands were imprisoned or chased into exile. In the years that followed, many teenagers from all over the country joined that protest. Apartheid did not end in that instant, but the children turned the tide. It took almost 2 decades from the cataclysm of 1976 before we met the first free elections in the 1990s. But the children's involvement and commitment set an example for the adults and turned the tide of the struggle. In other parts of the world, people were terrified by the prospect of nuclear war. They faced civil war and fought proxy wars, endured the ravages of famine, were beginning to reckon with the effects of industrial pollution. Women and girls championed the right to equal treatment under law. LGBT+ activists struck out against the prejudice that had kept them closeted. Like the COVID-19 pandemic that has locked down the planet for more than a year, the HIV and AIDS crisis of my youth cut a deadly path across the globe. Like COVID, AIDS awakened both fear and courage. The first Children's Peace Prize laureate, Ngosi Johnson, for whom the Children's Peace Prize award statue is named, was an AIDS activist from my native South Africa. In the same way that children turned the tide in the struggle against apartheid, the amplified voice of one child helped to turn the tide in the global response to HIV and AIDS. Each of the finalists for this year's prize is a change maker. Each one has been nominated because in some crucial way, he or she is turning the tide in the national and global response to the challenges that we face today. Each has seen a path to a better future and has set out on it, calling others to join them along the way. I hope that each of us understands that we don't have to do big things to be change makers who make the world a better place. Doing the next right thing right where you are already gives you access to the club of change makers. We don't want the Change Makers Club to be an exclusive club, but membership isn't free. To join the club, just do one thing today that makes the world where you are better. Your effort can be as small as a smile to someone who looks lonely. Invite someone else to join your kindness campaign, and there it is. You're in. You're making the world a better place. You are a change maker. Thank you.
Sadat
Thank you to the Rotterdam Philharmonic Orchestra and Voces 8 Foundation Choir for this beautiful rendition of Lux Aeterna, composed by Edward Elgar and especially arranged for today's ceremony. It's time to go to our next speaker. She was also a recipient of the International Children's Peace Prize, but just not in 2019, but in 2016, so 3 years before. Miss Kakeshan Bassoon, she is the founder, president of the Green Hope Foundation and United Nations Human Rights Champion. Born in 2000, she has been impacting the world with her work on children's rights and climate change, climate justice, everything that has to do with climate. And she is spreading the message of sustainability and has been her passion since she was only 8 years old. She's worked tirelessly to gather the support of children and youth across the globe. And in 2013, at the age of 12, she was elected as United Nations Environment Program Global Coordinator for Children and Youth. She was the youngest person ever and the first minor to be selected to that position. This is only one of her many achievements in her already storied career, and as one of the speakers during the recently held COP26, the climate change conference in Glasgow, she is found to come back here to give us a short impression of what she saw and heard at COP26. So please welcome Ms. Kakeshan Bassoon.
Known as the Earth Charter, it sought to create a new, inclusive, integrated ethical framework that would guide our path towards creating a more sustainable future. 21 years ago, coincidentally, in that same month of June, I too was born, coming into this world not having a clue as to what the future held for me. Now, in the intervening 2 decades since, humans have done the exact opposite of what the Earth Charter called for, rapaciously destroying our Earth's natural resources, polluting and degrading our ecosystems, and just creating a world that is just not right for everyone. Because my generation is growing up in a world of contrasts where hyperloops and SpaceX missions make headlines on the same day thousands died due to lack of access to ventilators and millions of hectares of forests are burnt to make way for cash crops. We celebrate the glorious advancements of stem cell research while resigning ourselves to the fact that the magnificent northern white rhino will soon go extinct. Our fossil fuel-driven economies are pumping millions of tons of carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere while climate change-induced disasters are wreaking havoc all across the world. And then we were hit with the COVID-19 pandemic, something, as we all know, brought everyone to their knees. It exacerbated pre-existing inequalities, and it disproportionately impacted those who were already at the bottom rung of the ladder: women and girls, young people, indigenous communities. And it widened the chasm between the haves and the have-nots, and it pushed the global south further away from progress and equity. The road to recovery, the pathway for rebuilding better, must therefore adopt a human and planetary lens. We must not just embroil ourselves in the semantics of emissions, but understand that our world's greatest challenges impact people as well. It has to be about climate justice so that we can truly reduce and eliminate inequalities, rebuild our ecosystems through sustainable development, and restore peace to our societies. And that responsibility lies with every single one of us. And this has been our mantra at Green Hope Foundation, which I founded all the way back in 2012, where as a global social innovation enterprise, we seek to fight for that climate justice, to ensure that no one is left behind, and to make sure that children and young people can attain their right to a sustainable future. And it was for that that I was here at this very podium 5 years ago, winning the 2016 International Children's Peace Prize, which helped to amplify my impact. And since then, Green Hope Foundation has expanded to over 25 countries, working with over 225,000 people, all coming together to create a better world and a better future for all. We have planted over 400,000 trees, over 7,000 mangroves, recycled over 250,000 kilos of waste, cleaned up over 700 beaches, parks, ravines, canals, communities, and we're ensuring climate justice every day by making sure that our most vulnerable communities are not left behind, and we do so by installing solar grids in homes and schools. We installed solar streetlights, built deep-bore tube wells for drought-stricken communities that will have access to clean drinking water for the first time ever. We've built toilets to provide safe spaces for women and girls. We've instituted our solar-powered mobile libraries that are now taking books directly to the doorstep of over 250,000 children across Asia and Africa, installed solar-powered irrigation systems to make sure farmers can practice climate-smart agriculture. And during the pandemic, we've built sewing schools to make sure women and girls have an alternate source of income. And we've done much more. But the point is that my work on the ground proves every single day that the vulnerable communities are the ones most affected by our world's greatest challenges, yet they're the ones most often left behind. And that was the message I was bringing to COP26, the UN Climate Change Conference, to really make sure that everyone understood the need to adopt that human and planetary lens when addressing climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, as well as the pandemic. And it's really unfortunate that it took a global pandemic to really jolt us as a human race, to remind us of our fallibility and of how little time we have. And the time that we have right now to really rebuild and build forward equal, there's very little time left, and it's important that we do not squander this opportunity. The onus is on everyone, and I repeat, everyone, not just our leaders, but you and me, to make sure that we make the right choices, consume with care, and behave sustainably. And only then will we achieve that sustainable and equal future for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kakeshan Bassoon. The onus is on everyone. I will not forget that. And that means everyone, as you explained very clearly. Thank you so much for those inspiring words. We are coming, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the finale, the final part of this award ceremony. We're going to find out who is the winner, or who are the winners of the International Children's Peace Prize 2021. One of the three that you saw in the earlier video introduced will win. We will, of course, reveal that during this broadcast. But first, we will have to look back at the history of this prestigious award. Let's take a look.
The International Children's Peace Prize is an initiative of the Dutch Kids' Rights Foundation. Every year, this prize is awarded to a child who bravely fights for children's rights anywhere in the world. In 2005, the first Children's Peace Prize was posthumously dedicated to Ngosi. During his short life, he pleaded for the rights of HIV and AIDS-infected children.
We are normal. We are human beings.
The next year, former child slave Om Prakash received the prize for his unceasing work to combat child labor and liberate child slaves in India. Tandiwe from Zambia won the prize in 2007 because of her extraordinary effort for the right to education for all children. Maíra battles against violence in Vila Cruzeiro in Brazil. She was therefore awarded with the 4th International Children's Peace Prize. Maíra received the prize from Nobel Peace Laureate Desmond Tutu.
Just look, there's a little angel who goes and wipes the tears from God's eyes.
Talvez querer paz seja o mais comum no cotidiano da favela de Vila Cruzeiro. Não somos dignos de pena. O mundo é digno de pena.
Baruani from DR of Congo won the prize for his work promoting children's rights in the refugee camp in Tanzania, where he lives. In 2010, Francia received the prize. She campaigns for the right to name and nationality of children in the Dominican Republic. Kaylee won the prize for her commitment to the rights of children with disabilities in South Africa.
A lot of disabled people can't physically voice what they need and what they deserve, and I can.
Ngosi sikeleli Afrika malo paganyisu ondolwayo morena bonlo kasechela basayeso ofedi sedintwana matsuenye.
Desmond Tutu, patron of kids' rights and the International Children's Peace Prize, honored the winner of 2012. Kez received the prize for helping street children in the Philippines. In 2013, the prize was awarded to 16-year-old children's rights activist Malala.
I want to live in a world where education is valued in every corner of the globe and no one is excluded from it.
Neha received the prize in 2014 for her inspiring work helping orphaned and underprivileged children in both India and the United States, where she lives.
My message to the world is to convert empathy into action and make a difference in other people's lives.
On the 9th of November 2015, the prize was awarded to Abraham Keita. Keita leads the fight for children's rights and justice in Liberia.
My dream is to see a world where every child will receive justice.
Yeah! Let's go!
In 2016, the prize was awarded to Kakeshan from the United Arab Emirates for her extraordinary work as an environmental activist. In 2017, Malala Yousafzai presented the prize to Mohammed Al-Junder. Mohammed is a Syrian refugee who fled to Lebanon with his family when life became too dangerous at home. Determined to fight for the right to education, he started a school in a refugee camp. The March for Our Lives initiators demands safe schools and safe communities.
We can and we will change the world.
They are true change makers and were therefore awarded the 2018 International Children's Peace Prize. 2019 was the year of Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg and of peace activist Davina Malou from Cameroon.
We need to act. It's time for change.
They both received the International Children's Peace Prize for their fight for a safer and more sustainable world for their generation.
Together and united, we are unstoppable.
The 2020 winner is Bangladeshi social innovator Sadat.
There is a superhero who lives in all of us. Let's work together and make this world peaceful.
Sadat is an inspiration for today's youth. He's calling on young people all over the world to stop cyberbullying.
Through apps, campaigns, and seminars, Sadat shows teenagers how to be safe online. The International Children's Peace Prize is not only a sign of recognition for these young winners, Kids' Rights offers them a platform to promote their message, reaching an international audience of millions. They set a great example of how children can move the world.
That was an impressive lineup of change makers and people who give us inspiration, hopefully every day. The importance and the recognition of the International Children's Peace Prize has grown tremendously over the past few years, over the past decades. It has given many voiceless children a voice, and that's one of the points to make, and to show that rights of the child are important and that we should have them on our minds every day. Year after year, the young winner has given voiceless children a voice, and that is done by the message of the winner. Who that will be, we will know soon of this year's edition of the International Children's Peace Prize. But let's go back to one of the recipients that you just saw in the video, Sadat Rahman. He was here last year, 2020, and he received the prize for his involvement and his idea of setting up an anti-bullying cyber app. It's called Cyber Teens, and the Cyber Teens app is there to stop cyberbullying. He's from Bangladesh, and he convinced government, and local police stations all over the country to work with him to develop the app and to spread out the app. And at some point, all the schools in all of Bangladesh are now using this app. And that led him to receive the International Children's Peace Prize in 2020, last year. Each year, the message, as we've said before, inspires hundreds of millions of people. We think that Sadat Rahman last year was able to reach 1.2 billion people worldwide with his message. So that is a good inspiration for the new winners of this year. Can they do the same? Can he or she do the same? The winner of the International Children's Peace Prize receives the statue, the Ngosi. You see it there in front of the hall. It's named after Ngosi Johnson, who was the first recipient of the International Children's Peace Prize. And the statuette, as we call it, is each year uniquely sculpted by our own homegrown Dutch sculptor, Inge Iking, and it shows a child pushing the world in motion. The winner also receives a Project and Care grant. The Project and Care grant is the $100,000, the Project and Care grant is an education grant that enables the winner to receive education. Then there is the project fund that is being invested by Kids' Rights. That fund is worth 100,000 euros, and that is invested, as I said, by Kids' Rights in areas of dedication that are close to the winner, so that we know where the money is invested. And over the past 15 years, Kids' Rights, with this project fund, has been able to directly influence 100,000 kids' lives all over the world. Mr. Mark Dullard is with us today, and he is the founder and chair of Kids' Rights, and he's the founder of the International Children's Peace Prize. May I invite you to the stage, Mr. Mark Dullard.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, my dear friend Kailash, and dear finalists, Christina, Mohammed, Vihan and Nav, and of course viewers from around the world, dear girls, dear boys, mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers, and of course a very special and warm welcome to our patron Desmond Tutu, who is participating online. We just witnessed 16 years of history of the International Children's Peace Prize, and today we are celebrating its 17th edition. The International Children's Peace Prize is not only a sign of recognition, but is also providing a platform to the young winners to voice their powerful message. And it's inspiring millions of children and adults. We just heard last year 1.2 billion people. This moment, this live stream is live on Associated Press, and also a world audience will hear the message of the young winners of today, and hopefully also they could be an example. Well, this history and amazing journey is portraying and proving Kids' Right's strong belief that children can and will change the world. Today's finalists, Mohammed, Christina, Vihan and Nav, are giving us a very clear message. Give access to education to everyone. No one should be excluded, Mohammed says. All kids should have the right to have a daily meal, nutritious food, Christina demands. Give back to children their fundamental right to breathe clean air, the Indian brothers Vihan and Nav said. This is not too much to ask, isn't it? In fact, these children have to live in a system that denies their rights, a system that we as adults created. Yes, we preach their rights already for more than 30 years by the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, signed by 196 countries, which is good. But in practice, we're making a bit of a mess. You, I, our generation. Our planet is at stake. Just look at Glasgow. Just look at our rapidly changing climate. Just look at all the crises we face. Currently, 42% of the world's population is under 24 years old. 42%. But for them, it's very hard to influence the course of history because they have nearly no formal power or influence on our current systems. Formally, they can participate if they are 18 years old in a lot of countries. But in practice, they are on the wrong side of the balance of power. According to the World Economic Forum, there's hope. Hope coming from a new era. They predict a new world order. The current systems with all kinds of human failures will be replaced by a brand new system. In this reset, also artificial intelligence will help us to make in the near future to make the right decisions. All kinds of human mistakes will be eradicated by much smarter systems and a new economic and political order. Our health will be improved, our labor will be improved, and so on and so on. A new world order and even a world governance. This will certainly have its upsides. But in practice, are we going to be steered through algorithms and to artificial intelligence? And who is making the decisions in this new world order? Where's the democratic feedback? It's tricky, isn't it? Are we really aware what is happening on our doorstep? And once again, children and youth are not asked to participate and influence the design of the ethical, legal, and societal frames of this new vision and new systems that will shape our future and their future. Ladies and gentlemen, our current system did not work, given the current crises we face. The new artificial intelligence-driven systems become already more and more part of our lives, and of our children's lives. Before we replace or reset our current failed system, we should really listen to our youth. Their voice is not an algorithm. They just demand to be heard. They want to participate because it's their future. The future is ours, they say. And right they are. Thousands of children and youth joined the Changemakers movement of kids' rights over the years. And it developed into the first ever borderless digital youth state, the State of Youth, launched in 2019 at the Nobel Summit and the day after at the UN in New York. We could only make this happen with the help of our donors and sponsors and the Postal Code Lottery. And we are grateful for that. The State of Youth now has online followers in many countries and chapters on the ground in 32 countries and provides an enormous wave of youth-led projects initiated by youth in their neighborhoods and cities, like today's finalist initiatives. It's now one of the fastest growing youth movements at the moment. All these determined young people feel intuitively that something has to change and start up little projects. They bring positive change in their communities. Change bottom up, not led by systems, but led by conscience. Starting at home, working on a healthy environment, clean air, healthy food, access to education. Not only promises and visions, but acting. Positive change starts in our heart, in these young hearts. We are invited to support them, not only governments and institutions, but start at home. We can discuss with our children and grandchildren what we can do. Together in our house or neighborhood, we can do it. We're all responsible. We owe it to them. We owe it to ourselves. Together we can, we have to, and will move the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delaert, for those inspiring words. In a few moments, we are indeed going to announce the winners, or the winner, of the International Children's Peace Prize. And traditionally, a Nobel Peace Prize laureate awards the International Children's Peace Prize because the International Children's Prize was launched by Kids' Rights during the Nobel Peace Prize Laureates Winners Summit in Rome in 2005. And today we have amongst us, I mentioned him before, a special guest, our guest of honor, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi.
In 2014, the Nobel Expert Committee selected both Malala Yousafzai and Kids' Rights long-term partner Kailash Satyarthi as winners of the Nobel Peace Prize. Kailash Satyarthi has been a tireless advocate of children's rights for decades. Since 2005, Kids' Rights has been a leading partner of Kailash's organization, BBA, in India. BBA has rescued thousands of children from slavery and bonded labor, has established numerous child-friendly villages, and changed national legislation regarding child labor.
Even if one single child is denied childhood, it's a scar on the face of humankind. And we are now talking of millions, rather hundreds of millions.
Kailash aims to inspire and mobilize young people to stand up and act for their own rights and the rights of their peers, to end violence against children, eradicate child labor, and ensure education.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, please.
It was a very clever idea not to have the spotlight on me while you were watching this film. So for a few minutes, you need not to see me. You kept on watching that film. So anyway, it's a great pleasure. Several reasons. One is that I'm addressing any event in person after almost 20 months. So the energy which comes through the physical gatherings and meetings and meeting and greeting and hugging and kissing and handshaking, you cannot compare that with the virtual Zoom calls or whatever. So that's great. Thank you, Mark, for that. And Mark, my friend, is always very kind to invite me either as the speaker, as the Nobel laureate now, or before that also I attended several events of kids' rights. Because he considers me as a child, because he himself considers himself as a child. And not only two of us, but our mentor, our leader, our inspirer, Archbishop Tutu is like that. So all of us can laugh freely, can hug, can jump, can cry, can dance. As you saw, Desmond Tutu was dancing, but I'm not going to dance anymore. One man can have a great idea, can have that courage and compassion and conviction to execute it. And if we are not going to give a thunder of applause to Mark Dullard for this great idea, it would not be just. So let us As I said, I have attended several events of kids' rights and also International Peace Prize. Each time when I come here and I meet and greet these young heroes, I return with enormous hope. I think you should have the same feeling, isn't it? Say yes or no. Yes? Yes. Hope and compassion and sense of moral responsibility to make this world a better place. We all are here to salute these young heroes. Each time an awardee appears on this stage, I feel that a new sun has arisen on the earth to bring the light of purity and love. Each time a new flower is blossomed, bringing the freshness, fragrance, and colors. This will make ourselves cleaner, beautiful, and fragrant. So this is a historic day, because this is a day of inspiration and hope, as I said. I see 3 plus 1 finalists sitting over here. 3 of them are from India, but let me say that Christina, Asim, Vihan, and his brother Nav, all of them are amazing young people, and everybody has said about it. But my second reason of being more happy, because 3 of them are coming from India. And India, I always say, may be a land of hundreds of problems. But India is a country, trust me, is also a land of 1 billion solutions. And 3 of the solutions are sitting here. Dear friends, young people are restless. Young people don't want to see the world which they are inheriting from us. I will confess that the world which we are giving to their hands is more fragmented, more divided, more polluted, more difficult, more violent in some cases. And that's why this becomes their moral responsibility to take it on and make a change in it. These young people are doing in every sphere of life, not just environmental issues, but education, child labor, slavery, everything. This pandemic has brought bad news for the young people in the world. 24 million children will never be able to go to school next year. Additional 24 million. Additional 48 million children would be pushed into child labor, slavery, trafficking, prostitution, child marriages, and so on, due to pandemic. 160 million children are still working today when we are celebrating this, at the cost of their freedom and childhood and education. That can never be justified. 160 million child laborers means 160 million empty seats in the classrooms. 160 million jobs are taken, adults' jobs are taken by children or given to children. And 160 million missed climate actions. These young people are able to do all these great work because they have freedom to go to school. But if they are enslaved somewhere, so many young children, then we miss out this great opportunity and courage which we see in the case of all our heroes of kids' rights, this International Peace Prize. Dear friends, we should learn something from this pandemic, and that is that world is one. This crisis should teach us one thing, that we cannot solve any problem in isolation and fragmentation and division. We have to act as one family because we are interdependent on each other. Particularly when we take the case of Africa, half of the world's child laborers come from only sub-Saharan African countries. 86 million children only in sub-Saharan Africa. This is a new dimension, a new expose of this discrimination which the Africa has been facing for years. So, my dear young friends, we are very sure, and I am personally very confident, that no voice can be louder, compassionate, honest, and stronger than the voice of the young friends like you, young heroes like you. No one can make the difference with that kind of honesty which you can do, and you are doing and you will do. So not only you, but all the young people in the world, I will tell them, they will definitely inspired with you, but I can ask, be angry. It looks a little awkward that a Nobel Peace Laureate is asking young people to become angry. But I say you to become angry for righteousness, for justice, for equality, for climate justice. Not angry for destruction or violence. Please convert your anger into peace. Anger is an energy that could be diverted and converted into peace, and I'm sure that this is bound to happen. This freedom, this smile, this beauty, all these goodness, well-being of humankind, sisterhood, humanity, truth, and justice will prevail. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi. Thank you for those inspiring words. If I may quote you, a world more polluted, divided, fragmented, difficult, violent. And still you were an inspiration. Thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time, finally, to announce the winner of the International Children's Peace Prize 2021. I'm not going to do that. We have a special guest, our last guest to do that. It's Benjamin Mezmour. He is with us today, and he is the Kids' Rights Expert Committee member of the International Children's Peace Prize. He's also a member and former chairperson of the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child, which happens to be the highest children's rights body in the world. He's going to do two things. He's going to, A, read the Experts Committee report, and B, he's going to announce our winner. Warm welcome to Benjamin Mezmour. Benjamin.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's difficult to come after Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, whom I have known for 18 years. In fact, when I started working on children's rights at the African Child Policy Forum, he's a founding board member from there. So it's a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon, boys and girls, the International Children's Peace Prize finalists for 2021, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. My task is relatively straightforward. I am here to read the short version of the jury's report, the Experts Committee's International Children's Peace Prize. The Expert Committee, after ample discussion and deliberation, decided to award the 2021 International Children's Peace Prize to Vihan and Nav Agarwal. To begin with, the Expert Committee wants to also congratulate the other two finalists of the 2021 International Children's Peace Prize, Christina Adana and Mohammed Asim. Thank you. The Expert Committee was deeply impressed by Vihan and Nav's organized actions to mitigate air pollution in their hometown, New Delhi, India. The brothers were chosen as the winners of the International Children's Peace Prize because of their entrepreneurial spirit, firm dedication to cleaning up the air of New Delhi, and the positive influence and impact their actions have had on the lives of thousands of children and young people. Starting from recycling their waste in their own homes with no outside help, the brothers ended up founding their own organization to carry out their actions, One Step Greener. The success of their work can be illustrated by the following figures. In 4 years, they have recycled over 170,000 kilograms of waste, have reached over 45,000 people through talks and training, have planted and saved over 4,500 trees. Air pollution and climate change are two issues that are closely linked. Climate change affects children worldwide and puts 1 billion, and I repeat, and puts 1 billion children at extremely high risk of climate change. Air pollution, being the single biggest environmental threat to human health, has particularly negative impacts on children's right to life and the right to the highest attainable standard of health. Approximately 600,000 children die due to air pollution per year. Over 90% of children are breathing toxic air. This can also prevent children from being able to go to school and enjoy their right to education and to play outside, among a very long list of rights that are provided for in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Vihan and Nav's ambitious work inspires youth and adults all over the world to take more action and improve the environment at their own levels. They choose to tackle a worldwide problem that affects everyone, inspiring thousands of people and households to take action. They started their own initiative and developed it from their ground up, managing to reach sustainable solutions to mitigate New Delhi's air pollution. They are true change makers who strive to improve children's lives. They're not counting their days, they're making their days count. That's why they are the rightful winners of the the 2021 International Children's Peace Prize. Thank you very much.
Now in our Eye on Earth report, we all know air pollution is a problem, but a new study indicates that it is worse than scientists thought.
The Earth is dying. We are not saying this. 14,000 scientists across the world are.
Health experts say drastic cuts to air pollution worldwide could add 2 years to our lives.
Because of air pollution, the simple act of breathing contributes to 7 million deaths a year.
New Delhi is the world's most polluted capital city.
Are we breathing poison in Delhi?
And has caused an estimated 54,000 premature deaths every year.
Every 2 minutes, one person dies due to air pollution in this country.
What does it mean for children and their childhood?
It's 1 minute to midnight on that doomsday clock, and we need to act now.
This has to stop now. We need to let the earth breathe again. Today, we say enough is enough. Let's fight for a clean world. We are the change. My name is Nav. My name is Vihan. And this is our story.
Vihan and Nav grew up in Delhi, India. They have always been very interested in nature.
Do you remember when we went farming?
Yeah.
And you were trying to sow some seeds, and then there was this whole cabbage patch, and you were trying to pull out the cauliflower? Cabbage.
Our childhood, we spent a lot of time outdoors. We would like to come to the garden and crawl around. We would like to be amongst the birds. There was a time when Nav and I would make bird calls, and before my voice cracked, I was able to do that.
Then you were trying to plant something with your hands.
And we were learning a lot about the environment and about nature in our childhood, and we developed a love for it and a passion that really is all-encompassing for us.
Growing up with asthma, Vihan frequently fell ill due to the city's poor air quality.
When he was younger, it was very drastic. Like, he couldn't go out and play. He wouldn't be able to play football or go for any outdoor activity for that matter, because he would come back just sick, and it would take many days for him to recover.
Sometimes I would end up in the hospital needing oxygen because of the pollution that existed in our city. All that time, Nav and I, being so interested in nature, understood it's a problem.
In a shocking incident of civic apathy, the Ghazipur Mandi has collapsed.
In 2017, Delhi's Ghazipur landfill collapsed, killing 2 people and causing a significant spike in pollution. That was when Vihan made the connection between waste and air pollution.
We were absolutely shocked and horrified, but at the same time, there was this realization, aha moment, that our waste is contributing to air pollution. We never made that connection. And that's when we made the connection that the smog outside, the one which is making Vihan have, respiratory issues, is directly coming from the landfills. I think Nav and I both can attest, we never felt like the problem was too big for us. We thought that if we can at home prevent our waste from going there, we can make a little bit of a difference that can actually make an impact. So we could take one step to make our city greener. And that one step which we took was from our home. So this is where it all started. I started segregating my waste into 3 different streams in my room itself. As you can see, this is my desk. So here's where I put all the paper, newspaper, all the little pieces of paper that when I'm studying I have to throw away. We piled our waste in our garage for around 4 months, and it got so much that our grandfather actually told us that it's either you in the house or the waste. Then we tried to find a recycler who would come and pick it up, and we realized very soon that recyclers need a lot of quantity. In our home, we had, after 5 to 6 months, we had about 200 kgs of waste, which is a lot. But it's nothing compared to what recyclers need. It's just tons and tons of waste.
And that's when they started picking up waste from homes. It started with 15 homes in 2018, but rapidly grew into a service that collects waste from over 1,500 households, schools, and offices. They go house to house with a truck and a team of volunteers.
I think seeing the fact that they're so passionate about what they're doing, it makes you want to work more and it makes you want to do more things for the environment. And it's just a very great experience working with them.
No, I don't think I'll ever stop being a volunteer because I've always wanted to help the environment and give back, and this is the best way to do it, and I'm very passionate about the environment as well.
After the pickup, the waste goes into their warehouse where they segregate it.
Now catch!
It is recycled and does not cause any more pollution.
Until now, we've saved around 22 million liters of water by just recycling our products. We've recycled around 173,000 kgs of waste in the past 4 years, and it's just been an incredible journey.
They also start planting more than 1,000 native trees with their organization.
So Vihana told me, I think 3 years ago, I want to plant 2,000 trees in 2 years. And we had just planted 100 trees that year, just 100 trees.
So I have these big dreams, big ambitions, big ideas. Let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do... Nav is the one who brings me down to earth. He's like, yes, okay, this makes sense, but think about this, think about that, think about this.
I may have worked for 1,000 trees in the next 3 years. And he said, no, we're going to plant 3,000 trees. And in these 4 years, we've actually completed it.
And gone above it. Now the goal is 100,000 trees. So let's see how long it takes to get there in the next 5 years, brother. Good luck.
Nav and Vihan strive to increase awareness and have reached over 45,000 young people through talks and trainings.
A lot of people don't know what to do. But for a lot of people, we've tried to bring that opportunity to them, that this is what you can do. You can plant trees with us. You can plant native trees with us. You can segregate your waste with us. You can recycle with us. And all of these things have an exponential environmental impact. Genuinely, I think both of us really have that feeling in that fire in our belly that we want to change the world.
You know, at the end of the day, kids are the future.
It's our future that we have to protect.
Nav and Vihan keep fighting for a better world. That's why they are the rightful winners of the International Children's Peace Prize 2020.
And here they are, ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the 2021 International Children's Peace Prize.
ये बहुत भारी है. I said in Hindi, it's quite heavy. Later on, any one of you can just try to hold it. It's heavy. ले लिया? Very good.
It is really heavy.
Yeah. Congratulations once again. Lovely. Done? Yeah.
Namaste, Your Excellencies, members of the expert committee, ladies and gentlemen, all those viewing this program from the other side of the screen, and of course, our fellow children.
We are grateful and truly humbled to receive the International Children's Peace Prize. We thank the expert committee for finding one step winner special and worthy.
We are honored to be part of this community, and we greatly appreciate the platform it provides not only for our work, but also to all those fighting for the human right for a healthy environment, and of all the children of the world affected by the climate crisis.
This is a message to the leaders of tomorrow. Take the plunge.
Every year, 54,750 species go extinct.
Every month, 1.25 billion trees are cut.
Every day, 4.6 billion gallons of water is wasted.
Every hour, 5 million tons of carbon dioxide is produced.
Every minute, we burn 2.7 million gallons of oil.
And every second, 60,000 kilograms of waste is generated. This is just a preview.
Take the plunge now. Like the depths of the ocean, the climate crisis is dark and foreboding. Like its enormous waves, it is terrifying. Like its vastness, every step you take feels like an insignificant drop in the face of the overwhelming enormity of the challenge. We know, like us, you too are scared.
Take the plunge now. There's no time to waste. Waste? This is and is our plunge. Our first step. For us, the most closest to home and overwhelming part of the climate crisis is air pollution. We witnessed this firsthand, having online school way before the pandemic even began, not being able to play outside, and my brother was asthmatic. I used to see him in the nursery more often than not, gasping for air. What prompted us into action was an extremely unfortunate event that happened in our home city of Delhi. One of the world's largest landfills, the Ghazipur landfill, which is 65 meters tall, collapsed, killed 2 people, caught on fire, and released tons of toxic gases that blanketed our city. The first thought that entered our minds when we encountered this news was that our waste should not become fodder for this raging fire. It was then our one step greener truly began.
We started with collecting our recyclables at home, storing them in our backyard till we had our own little mini waste mountain. We didn't want to give this waste to the current waste management system, as we saw our painstakingly segregated waste mixed up again. Recyclers did not want to pick up our waste because the quantity of waste we had was on its own too little to be economically beneficial to them. With the help of the neighborhood moms group chat, we reached out to homes to collect and recycle our waste together. In 3 months, 50 homes had joined us, and that's when we realized we needed to put some proper systems into place. We got a truck, and with the help of 2 former waste pickers and 1 supervisor, we started a monthly door-to-door waste pickup, where we collect recyclable waste from homes, take the waste to our warehouse, micro-segregate it before aggregating, which means collecting huge quantities of it to send to certified recyclers. Now we have reached over 1,500 homes, schools, and offices in 14 neighborhoods and 2 cities. Through the process, we have created a replicatable model that in its current form works on its own. At this very moment, waste is being picked up when we ourselves are 6,383 kilometers away.
Take the plunge now. There's no time to waste. Action has to be taken. When we saw the problem of air pollution and climate change, we thought of it like a tree, addressing both the root problems and the effects or the branches. We identified that the root of the problem was lack of awareness about the importance of waste segregation. We combated this through talks, speeches, a curriculum, and used social media to the best of its ability to educate 45,000 young people through our meetings. Through our waste pickups, we try to improve the current waste management system to make it as responsible and green as practically possible, recycling over 180,000 kilograms of waste, the weight equivalent of 45 Asian elephants. As for the branches and effects, we have planted and taken care of 2,000 indigenous trees. Through all our work, we have saved 150,000 pounds of carbon, which is equal to the emissions of whole nations like Tuvalu, Nuaru, Kiribati, and Tong combined.
Our journey and the impact that we've been able to create along the way have taught us that every step truly does count. Our efforts are not an insignificant drop, but create ripples that have the power to transform the entire ocean. As the challenges grew larger, the opportunity to improve the systems of the world also grew. The challenge of the COVID pandemic led to the creation of a first-of-its-kind recycling drop-off center and a digital curriculum to teach students about the environment and waste. Like in the ocean, after our first plunge, we saw a magical universe appear, a universe full of opportunities to truly change the world for the better. Take the plunge. Now. There is no time to waste.
Action has to be taken.
Every step really does count.
You are not alone.
We are with you every step along the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vihan, Nav, take the plunge. Let's take the plunge. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. Thanks to all inspirational speakers today, and thanks to the musicians for their renditions, for their contributions. Thank you so much. Thanks to our honored guests, our speakers, and of course the winners. Again, Nav, Vihan, take the plunge. I will not forget that, and I will tell my own sons to take the plunge, stop dithering around. This was the award ceremony of the International Children's Peace Prize 2021. I'll leave you with saying that you have to, in these days, look out for each other, stay safe. To see you soon next year in the International Children's Peace Prize edition 2022. We have one traditional closing here at this ceremony, and that is that we end with a song, because in the end, all you need is love.